One Punch Man 85. Is it because I'm the Kate Baldy? When I first read this chapter, I wasn't a big fan of it. I suppose after like the 135-page escalation chapter, which was just nothing but, which was pretty much back-to-back action with some great backstory too, I felt a bit let down by this. But rereading it, I see I was an idiot, and this was actually a fairly good chapter, especially for a non-action chapter. It had some funny interactions. We got to see characters that don't normally interact. We see the Hero Association work a bit, so it was interesting to me. Yeah, so then, let's start off. The review starts because this is all after the aftermath of the Elder Centipede battle, where the Hero Association are talking about it, and they're just saying like how lucky, you know. The point is, one of the points they make is, you know, like, are you certain this is without a trace? Positive, and like, yep, Elder Centipede's body is gone. And they say they're very lucky to have an asset like King in battle, which is... no. Which I thought was good on them, at least they're recognising, like, but it's kind of a point that they make is they don't see them as people, they just see them as assets and objects more than anything, which Shichi makes a good point of in this. Like, so, Shichi, as I was going to put his name down there originally, but basically, he's the good member of the Hero Association for quite, in my honest opinion, quite a corrupt organisation. He's the guy who's trying to get out there and make things better. Now, I'm not saying it's all of them, but some of them are like that, definitely. And it starts off with him pretty much going on about Garo. No, wait. No. So, Elder Centipede as well, they make it look like everything disappeared without a trace, and it's only a small thing, but I'm sure, I know, obviously Saitama's Shockwave obliterated pretty much everything. It's just, I swear the two, the tail ends of, Elder Centipede popped off. I thought that might have survived, because if they can honestly harness some of Elder Centipede's, as big as Elder Centipede is, like, if they could harness some of that technology to help their own and Metal Knight and everyone, then that would be a massive win for the Hero Association. But at the same time, I kind of glad Saitama completely destroyed it, because we've seen how this kind of thing has worked in the past. So, like, with the side chapter, with, like, the Power Ranger kind of thing, where, you know, the only reason they wanted to keep that beast was because it was not for scientific advantage, it's just for money and profit, especially because that's quite a big portion. So it's a good thing at the end of the day that Saitama used a serious punch and destroyed Elder Centipede. In any case, Shichi starts talking about Garo, and he puts up some really good ideas, and he's just like, you know, okay, first thing we need to do is we need to treat him not as a human, we need to start treating him as a monster now. We need to raise him to a dragon class monster, and he needs to be and you know, we need to have a special summons and to discuss how we're going to deal with him. And immediately, all the Hero Association guys are like, that's stupid, why haven't you done anything about this sooner? That sounds useless. Like, you saying there's something our S-Class heroes can't handle? And he's thinking like, Shichi straight away is thinking of them like, you know, they're not objects. They're people. You've got to treat them like people. You know, they deserve saying it too as S-Class heroes, especially because of how powerful Garo is. They're still underestimating Garo, despite the fact he took down multiple A-Class heroes, A-Class and B-Class, and he's taken down 3 S-Class heroes, well, in their book. So he's taken on, Metal Bat, Tank Top Master, and Bang. Bang's number 3. You think they'd have a bit more concern about it? Because there's only 2 people higher, and one of them never shows up. Like, he shows up on his own whim. I just thought that was a bit of a stupid thing, especially because, well, I think that's part of the Hero Association's idiocy, is especially because when Garo first got elected, like, when the Substitute Garo first came up, they saw him as less a threat. Understandable, but they only spent about 15 minutes talking about him, and the rest of that meeting they spent deciding about Genos and Saitama's heroes' names. These are my problems with the Hero Association, and I think this is going to be stuff that's going to get covered in the future of One Punch Man, but they're there. Like, it's not a do-good, like, it's not a great organisation, really. And to be fair, like I said, Shichi, he's trying to put these points across. He's like saying, oh, well, Bang, you know, I have nothing but faith in Bang's skills. I know he's a great hero, but that shows the danger of how powerful Garo is. But on the other hand, I do know that he's at least grievously wounded Garo. So the chances, and it's unfortunately a wrong guess, because I imagine that unless it's like it's telling us more than anything, where he goes, I can't see Garo showing up and teaming up with the Monster Association when we have to deal with all this. So that's at least something good we don't have to worry about. Which is kind of true. It depends how long it takes for Garo to rest up. It depends if there's any monsters that specialise in healing. I doubt it, because we haven't really seen anything like that, or they've got any like special healing in that case. Because he's got quite a lot of grievous wounds on him, so I can't see this being an easy... I can't see him being an easy thing. So I think during this whole Monster Association, Hero Association fight, he's going to show up later on. Which I think is what Chi-Chi was telling us. In any case, straight away, another member of the Hero Association is like, call Blast, we need him now. And then he once again, Chi-Chi goes over, we can't call Blast because he just shows up when he wants to. He does his righteous acts on his own, and he can't, you know, no one tells him like what to do. But despite this, everyone agrees that he deserves these. Basically, he says, think about it, Matt. He basically says everyone agrees that Blast deserves these rights. Now, I haven't really thought too much about Blast. I suppose he's on my mind more obviously because of the last chapter. Webcomic people, please don't spoil. Please don't spoil. I don't want any spoilers for Blast. Like, you can just sit there and giggle if I'm wrong, or, you know, you can think your opinions, or talk about it with webcomic people. I just don't want to, that's the only thing I don't want to hear, any webcomic spoilers. That's the one thing. I just want to find out about it in the manga. Any case, you know, what deeds has Blast done to not only reach S-Class Rank 1, but to stay there as well? Especially as, like, as we can guess, Blast was fairly powerful. He's probably stronger now, of course, because considering he beat Elder Centipede down to the point where Elder Centipede had no choice but to run away, considering his power. I'm sure Elder Centipede was weaker back then too, but I imagine it'd be a similar situation. And considering S-Class Rank 7, King is ranked as the strongest person in the world, I am very curious as to see what Blast has done. And it gets me more excited to learn more about Blast more than anything, because the more everything goes on, and the more times, like, Blast still hasn't shown up, especially when the Monster Association are attacking cities all over. So is it going to take the appearance of an actual god-level threat that people know about, not someone like Boros who was Dragon Plus, like a legitimate god-level threat for Blast to be like, okay, now I've got to come in. I'm very curious about Blast, is I suppose basically what I'm trying to say there in the most complicated way, but I can't wait to learn more about him, to see what feats he's done for the Hero Association to go, he can show up when he wants to. I don't know, maybe he introduced heroes to the Hero Association. I'm not 100% on that. In any case, immediately, I can't remember his name, pop it down below, the guy who had his kid stolen, the guy who pumps money into the association, like, well, we need him here immediately, come on, and he's obviously, it makes sense he's angry because his son got stolen, and he basically talks about how, well, he just makes that point, you know, we need to go now, we need to do everything now, come on, why do I pay you people if you don't help me in times like this? And I suppose it's, I guess, like the judgment of being a parent is Cloud and his judgment, but we meet characters like, we meet a new character at this point called Sea Kingle. I don't know how you pronounce his name. There's obviously no one said it. Sea Kingle, I think I'm just saying Sea Kingle over and over again. In any case, I think he's an interesting character. Obviously, I like his design. He's got a cool robot eye, which is awesome, which he can project stuff with. Cool. And I want him to be a good member of the Hero Association. My only concern is, he was saying, you know, oh, we'll rescue your child by all and any means necessary, which puts him at peace, true. But what he should be saying really is, we'll get your child back. We will, like, everyone, like, we will succeed. Something along those lines. Only because all and any means makes me think he's more than happy to sacrifice heroes' lives if it just means they're going to keep the money coming in. And I hope Sea Kingle is going to be better than that, because I assume he is. But it's too early to say. And, you know, he puts him to peace, and he's like, we've already got our task team ready to go. And we see the task team, well, we assume they're the task team because they're the next people we see. And it's interesting, we have Tatsumaki, Pig God, and Dark Alloy Sunshine? I'm going to double check on that one, pop that down below. I can't remember his name, but it's interesting. It's a group I wouldn't expect to see together. I suppose, obviously, if, you know, you've got, like, such a big component of, like, a big donor of the Hero Association, you want to send one of your best, which is why Tatsumaki's going. I wouldn't have expected to go in straight away. I'll pause now for video. Different day, same review. Sorry, no commitment. I'm trying. I am. Shows how much I'm trying though, because this review's almost a month late. And they still don't know where the headquarters is, but they only have hints and like, from what they hear, that the headquarters is somewhere in Z City, which I can't say is true or not, only because they hear of a terrifying monster, which we know is actually Saitama, So they think it's there. I don't know if it's actually going to be in Z City. I don't... I imagine it is, because that's how I think Saitama is going to get dragged into the action. I'll talk about that later. But it also shows us that Child Emperor is going to... I think he's going to arrive late. So the first wave is going to be Pig God, Dark Alloy, and Tatsumaki. And they'll be the first wave to attack whenever they find it. Then later on, maybe I should talk about this at the end. In any case, carry on. We have... and Child Emperor is basically having to do this in overtime. That's why I say he's going to be late. Is because he's having to work overtime to find out as much information about the Hero Association, about the Monster Association, and where the location is, monsters, yada yada yada. He's basically having to work day in, day out, like without rest. And so another reason I say he's going to arrive late is because he's going to be so tired by the end of this. So unless he pretty much goes straight after, he's going to need to rest up because he's young. I don't remember how old he is. He's like 7 or 8, I believe. So yeah, he's going to be very busy the next few days too, which is what's going to keep him out of the action. And Tatsumaki, which I thought was quite good, was very quickly like, I could just, just lift up the whole city and crush it if that's easier. And then she starts to, see King Doll's just like, don't do that, please. And then she's like, and she rightfully really starts to talk about how, I've had enough of you guys and your false rankings and things like that. Because it's true, a lot of the rankings are false. Not in the way Tatsumaki sees them, where she sees them as too weak, but a lot of them tend to be stronger than the rank they get. I mean, but that's partially because of Saitama, as it was covered in that other that special chapter last year, where it turns out he's pretty much the reason all the rankings are wrong. What I like about Sea King Gull is, at least he doesn't just, say, like the other Hero Association members of the committee, they're not like, oh, this is outrageous, you need to do something, but we're not going to do anything. He actually, at least he gives examples and demonstrates what the problems are. So, literally, that's a cool little thing. He basically, from his robotic eye, shoots a hologram of Drive Knight or Engine Knight. I'm not sure which one it is. You know which one I mean anyway. And he tells us that Drive Knight, or I'm going to call him Drive Knight for this, has gone missing, and he is nowhere to be seen, which I am disappointed in, because I think they're using it as an excuse, obviously, because he knows a bit about, well, we assume he knows a bit about Genos's backstory and the knight and the robot he's after, but at the very least, because he has some really cool powers, that cube he could turn into a horse or a sword, and he goes on to inform those three that Tatsumaki, especially to Tatsumaki, who was very much, I can do this all on my own, I don't need help, as she tends to be, that, we've lost an S-class hero possibly, because they don't know, he's gone missing, they don't know if he's dead, or whether he's just gone out of action, we don't know, but they have to assume the worst, and at the very least that gets through to Tatsumaki, which I really liked, because she was just like, I guess we can wait then and get this sorted, because I feel like this chapter especially, no, doesn't matter. In any case, I suppose there's different sides. Tatsumaki's very impatient and childish despite her age, and obviously her appearance would say opposite, but she at least listens, and then this is the side of her that's more reasonable, is like, okay, we'll wait, we'll do it, but I'm not happy about this, so meanwhile, Atomic Samurai comes in with his crew, with his 3 subordinates, Iain, Fujiboshi, and I can't remember, I think I've made up some names. In any case, he shows up and he starts talking to Dark Alloy. Let me make sure that's the right one. You checked this yesterday, Matt. It's been 2 minutes for these lovely people and you're already checking. Buck, buck, buck. Super Alloy Darkshine, that's what it is. So, Super Alloy starts talking to, basically, also, I should at least say, the other heroes are doing other things as well. So for example, we see Zombie Man, and he's got that really cool page of him posing, see, this is the location, and if I remember correctly, was he following, let me check. So, last time we saw Zombie Man he was following Armored Gorilla because he was facing Marshall Kong. Marshall Kong tried to take on Armored Gorilla, and Armored Gorilla just went, knocked him out, left like nothing. So, at the very least, he's been training for a bit, and he's like, I found this location. And that was the last thing. So, are we going to see the Doctor as well? Dr. Genus, I think his name is? Genus? In any case, and that interaction I'm actually quite looking forward to, because now that I think about it, he's one of the few people who've seen Saitama, a villain who's seen Saitama and lived to see what's going on. And obviously, he wasn't, he basically created the villains, but he didn't do any fight himself. So, I don't know if he's going to talk to him about Saitama. I think he knows his name. I don't know, but it'll be like, you know, he might even, like, Zombie Man and him will end up talking for a bit, because I don't know what they do these days, because last time we saw him with Gorilla, he was just walking around in a hoodie, just, like, doing some shopping, so... And then the anime, I try not to talk about the anime, I'll explain why I don't talk about the anime too much in comparison to the story. Like, they seem to be living together now, but in any case... I hope there's I'm looking forward to their conversation, because I think it's going to be to do with monsters and things like that. And of course, Saitama's going to come up. Like I said, I don't know if you know Saitama's name, but he's like, I wouldn't worry, because there is a person who you don't know about who is stronger than anything. And like, then that'll be someone else who starts like, who is this person? In any case, Atomic Samurai and his disciples come back and like, oh, we've been searched, like, we're covered in blood. They're like covered in dirt and blood, like, oh, we've been searching ages for the Monster Association hideout, and, you know, we climbed up mountains through forests and we just kept killing things that came in our path. And then Dark Alley goes, oh, we know where that is, it's somewhere in ZC. And they're like, why didn't you tell us? We needed to know this. And they put him on standby to rest, and like Atomic Samurai, he's straight away like, I'm ready to go, you let me know, I can go ahead right now. And like, no, we'll keep you on the sidelines, because they don't know the extent of the threat, I suppose, like we do at the very least, because we see, like, there's at least a few people around the level of Elder Centipede and Goketsu, if there's other executives on that level. So, sure, we could do with as many S-Class heroes as we could, because Genos, unfortunately, as strong as he is, couldn't handle them, and Atomic Samurai, I can't say for certain, but in my opinion, he's the strongest swordsman in the series? Like, I don't know, for all we know, like, we've got the other Swordmasters, but I feel like Atomic Samurai is #1, especially if Bang considers him his rival. I feel like that puts them on the same-ish level. I'd say Bang is a little stronger, but that's purely because of rank. But rank doesn't mean everything, of course, as we know, because our hero is over in B-Class, and he is more powerful than everyone. In any case, as they split up, one of them, I should find out the name of Atomic Samurai's pupil, the cross-dresser one, she goes to take the elevator, and a Mind Mask shows up. And oh boy, does he have some things to say. The main point he brought up was like, oh, I can't believe there's so many low performers around here, you know. And he basically starts, and he really just badmouths the disciples of Atomic Samurai. He's like, oh, what are we going to do if they get taken hostage? Like, can you just let them commit suicide so they're not in our way? And he's just really underestimating the skills of these guys, because sure, they're not S-Class level, but they're still 2, 3, and 4 of Class A. And as my master likes to remind us, she's like, you know, the only reason I'm not A-Class is because I choose not, the only reason I'm not S-Class is because I choose not to be. I'm stronger than you guys. And he literally goes to Atomic Samurai as well, like, I'm not lying, I'm stronger than you. And he's very arrogant about this. And I only wonder if he talks like this because, I don't want to say it too long, because it was never shown in the manga. It's literally just an anime-only scene where he's watching Saitama beat Sea King. Like, the power, like, it's only like, it's a frame-by-frame shot of Saitama punching Sea King. And, true, the news went out that, you know, Saitama said to everyone, oh, I'm taking all the credit, it's all the hard work all the other heroes did, but in reality, Amayamas probably knows something, and I don't want to say it's a certain, only because, like I keep repeating, it's an anime-only scene, but this might be part of the reason why he's so much like, oh, well, it's only the weaklings here who are attacking. So maybe there's characters like, there's a few maybe, like, I think, for all we know, he might be like, Saitama, he's a strong guy. We need more people like him, and Tatsumaki, and the people who he's like, you know, the strong. So really, at this point, it's only Saitama and Tatsumaki who I think he could even see at that level. But, like I said, don't hold that too much, because it is just, it's just an anime-only scene, and I can't say it's for certain. It's an idea as to why, because if it's a bit of filler to pad out the show, at least it adds a bit of intrigue to a Mind Mask. You're like, oh, does he know this, does he know that? In any case, Atomic Samurai, he ain't backing down, and he's like, oh, well, don't worry, I'm sure like they can protect the pretty little idol if he's like this. And, you know, they have this little confrontation, and Atomic Samurai's getting really annoyed at him and everything like that. But, I have to say, as strong as I think a Mind Mask is, and like, there's no, I can't say he is the greatest swordsman in the world, because he hasn't been, like, it's not like One Piece with Mihawk where he's recognised as the greatest swordsman. It's just, as far as I know, I can see him being the strongest of the Swordmasters, and unless there's any wandering swordsmen out there that we haven't met, you know, he's probably the best. The only people who might be as good as him, really, are the Swordmasters or Flashy Flash, because he uses a sword too, and he's really fast. That's the only other guy, but then again, if he can split atoms, in any case, Who knows? Then we go back to Child Emperor and Metal Knight, and he's basically, as he goes, can you leave me alone? I just want to get on with this. He gets in contact with Metal Knight because he has some special connection with him, and he talks about how, you know, like, can you help us? Do I know you? You can hear me. You need to help us, kind of thing. And Metal Knight basically, through this whole conversation, to shorten it, he refuses to because he sees the threat that they are. He's like, oh, I can let this one kid die, or if I don't tell you, but if I tell you, all of you are going to die. You don't understand the threat we're up against. And then he goes on to talk about his Metal Knight body, and that might be his most powerful body. I would imagine he might have a couple, like, you know, he's known for his robotic army, and we know he can build great things. Like, back in, I think it was a side chapter, yeah, it was a side chapter, where Tank Top Master was training, and there's that giant robot he built. You know, it's not the end of the world, because he rebuilt it. I think he has I think he's going to have a stronger form. It's just a case of convincing Metal Knight to get back into the fight. I say convincing, I can't see him joining the fight after this. I think he's staying out of this. This chapter is basically who's come in at what time and like what time frame we can expect them during this whole raid of the Monster Association. And he basically says, you know, good luck, you're going to need all the luck. And he says there's a deeper threat lurking in the shadows. I have to assume he's on about Orochi, unless there's someone else there. I don't think it is, just because it's, as we saw, Orochi tore from Metal Knight, no problem. In any case, yeah, we got a Puri Puri Prisoner moment too, and I really, really like that, because we get this moment where we meet like the chief security guard at the prison, the chief jailer, and he's like, you know, every time you've broken out of here, I've counted that as a felony, and you know, I can't forgive you for any of this, but this one time, I'm letting you go, because that cat monster came in here, he took a bunch of prisoners, turned them into monsters, and escorted them. And a lot of good men died trying to stop those monsters. So you give them hell for us. And Puri Puri's like, yeah, I've got it, that's fine. And then one of the really nice touch was, he wasn't like the stereotypical super flamboyant gay, he was just like, just a nice, like, showing more of a hero side to him, where the guy came up to him, like, one of the prisoners, like, boss, I made this swear for you, and like, please take it, and he just looks back and goes, he's like, thank you. This will give me twice the courage. And he goes off. I really liked that. I was like, yes, Puri Prisoner. We need more moments like this from the heroes, because we're starting to see a few more different sides. And I can't say, I think we're seeing more heroic sides out of them. True, I can only really consider two true heroes at this point to be Saitama and Moomin Rider, because they're the only ones who are doing it because they want to be heroes and help people, and not for any selfish reasons, until we know more about other heroes. But what I like is, we're seeing more heroic sides from people. And yay, it makes me smile. Meanwhile, Fubuki shows up again, and I was really happy to see Fubuki. I like her. I knew she was going to show up, because I follow Murata on Twitter, and there was a lot, and he was showing some art of her, and I was like, okay, that I hadn't seen before, so I was like, okay, she's showing up in the new chapter. And I wasn't as surprised, and at this point, she's at her wit's end. She's like, well, okay, my Blizzard group's gone, sure, half of that was because of my sister, but, you know, this threat's bigger than anything we've faced so far, you know, I've got nowhere to turn, this is a meeting, this is a good time, I need you. Saitama knocks on the door, and Bomb enters, he's like, yes? He's like his own butler. And she's like, who are you? He's like, oh, you must be young Saitama's friend. Just come in. He's like, Saitama, your friend's here. She walks in, and true, it made me laugh quite a bit, because, especially when I read it back, just from her perspective, you have 3 S-class heroes, one of them being a legendary martial artist, and the other one being, like, literally a rank under, and the other one recognised as the strongest man in the world. You got Demon Cyborg, like, heavily damaged, and you just got Saitama playing Pokemon with King. It's great. And like this whole time, they're like, sorry about taking up the space, or, you know, right on this. And then like Genos is like, what are you doing here? No more further disciples. Right, this whole time, Saitama and King are just playing Pokemon, and they're just like, well, why aren't my monsters beating yours? He's like, because yours are too weak, but I really grinded them. Oh, it's to do with typing. Then he's like, actually, the really cute monsters are the strongest. Like, so what was the point in training the cool monsters? They're just having this argument, and from Buki's perspective, like, what is going on here? And she's like, how can you be so lax? And it's like, it's just like a really crude drawing of Saitama. I love it. She's like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? I love it. Quickly, Genos is the first one to defend Saitama's like, what are you doing here? We've just had a grueling battle against a monster. You know, we have the right to be here. She's like, okay, I can see that, but why? I've seen King here before, but why is Silverfang here? And he's like, oh, young Saitama was kind enough to let me stay here, and things like that. So at the very least, I'm hoping Bomb, well, obviously he's seen it too, but Bomb recognizes, okay, I just wish, and it's only a little thing, and I know it wouldn't happen because there's no need for it to happen at all now, but if you just a little conversation between Bang and Bomb, just like, oh, who, like, Bomb's like, who's this guy? And he's like, oh, this is Saitama. This is the strongest man I've ever met in the years of my life. Just something like that. It wouldn't do anything to the story at all, but for me, I'm like, yay, someone recognises he's strong as well. And so she's just asking what's going on, and it's basically saying no, none of them are ready to fight or they're going to be there. And you know, they know basically as much as she does, because she goes on to them and she's like, oh, well, have you heard anything from the association, because you guys are S-class heroes? And they basically all explain how their methods of communicating them have been lost, because Genesis got melted in battle, Bangs fell into the chasm, and King just got destroyed from the shockwave of Saitama's punch. So in any case, they know as much as she does, and she's like, right, okay. And as they also explain, they're not going to be in the action for a bit, because it kind of shows when they're going to show up, because Genos needs to be rebuilt, basically, and it'll probably be another day before he's fully back to fight in order. Bang and Bomb, they need a couple days to rest and catch up, because old age is hitting them, especially after using the Roaring Aura Void Ripping Fist. It did a lot of damage, it did a lot of shockwave damage to them because they haven't used it for a while. And King's going to be on a separate case, so this whole time, she's just like, okay, we can do this, Saitama. This is a good chance for us B-class heroes to do something. We can make a great impression here. Are you listening to me? And it's just Saitama like, huh? Okay, so as Fubuki carries on talking, she makes it clear that there's probably a bigger existence there, and Garo gets brought up again by Bang and Bomb, and they basically say this was probably our last chance to encounter Garo, and Bomb makes the note of, yeah, I guess you can't play a hero anymore, Bang. Now, whether he meant as in, like, he saw it as his own duty, like, whether he knows what Bang wants, in the sense of whether Bang wants to actually take down Garo, or whether he wants to save Garo, I don't know. I only think that because with the way Garo is, I'd assume, and like obviously he was his top pupil, and obviously after learning Garo's backstory, we know like he hasn't had it easy. But Bang, I like the idea. Well, I have no proof, but you know, Bang took him in and raised him basically. Taught him how to fight basically. So you know, the weak don't always, and the unpopular don't always have to be the unpopular and the weak. They can be strong and cool too. So I just want to see if he wanted to save him, and I want him to save him, but I also understand he sees it as his duty as his master to finish him off and like make sure, because it's his problem, he wants to take it on. So as they keep talking about Garo, they basically make it clear, you know, there's no way to get to him now really without having to fight all the monsters. The Monster Association is going to be the last straw kind of thing, and they're like, yeah, we don't have a choice on that. And then Saitama and King start talking, because like, King's like, oh, so I guess we just missed him. Saitama's like, yeah, I was talking to the other guys, and they said, like, we literally just missed him, like, we just passed by. And he's just like, that bastard. Is it because I'm the Kate Baldy? He starts suiting up, and it was like, Saitama, where are you going? He's like, I've had enough of Garo now. He keeps looking out, he's looking for heroes, looking down on me. I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to kick his ass. Also, we're low on cabbage. I'm going to go get some cabbage. Goodbye. What did they just do? They used that perfect excuse to keep Saitama out of the action. This is their way, by looking for, because it's all going to happen in Zed City as well, where he lives. The whole idea is that by kicking him out to look for Garo, he's going to miss his prime opportunity to fight Garo. Because obviously he doesn't know that the main fight's in Zed City, so he's not like, oh, I'll hang around and fight. He's done and he's off, and this is what's going to happen, isn't it? Like, all the fight's going to go down. It's going to be looking bad for the heroes. Saitama's going to come back. He's like, what is going on? And then Monster's going to attack Boombot Bip, and then maybe Saitama and Garo will finally fight each other. Also, well, maybe he'll fight Monster. I don't know who's going to fight first, Monster King or Garo, because Monster King is a monster thing. And that was their excuse for kicking Garo. For not kicking Garo, for keeping Saitama away from the action. I like it. It's a nice... they had to do something. It just makes me laugh that the very reason he's going to fight them, the very reason he's left is to fight them, but if he stays, he'd end up fighting them anyway. Meanwhile, Narinki has had enough or Nyrinki. Basically, he's had enough of the Hero Association. He thinks they're looking down on him, he thinks they're not doing their jobs correctly, so he's got like a group of bounty hunters to get, I assume they're bounty hunters, and giving them special armor and equipment, and he's like, you know, if you do this job for me, your grandkids won't even have to worry about money, if you get my son back. And I get it, like, here's the thing, those guys, I can see them beating a few monsters. It's just they introduce them all at once, and I think I get one of Murata's writing style, especially because of like when I watch Mob Psycho 100, they introduced all those like new villains, and then just they got blown past like no problem. And he's done that in the past with like House of Evolution, the Antimatter Pirates, the Dark Matter Pirate Thieves, things like that. They'll introduce these characters like I am him, and then they'll just get knocked out. And I think that's what's going to happen just on the hero side for a change, because I think the way they introduce them all, like normally important characters, they introduce one at a time or two at a time. I suppose it's a good scale of how important they are. I mean, I can't say that fully because the S-Class heroes were all kind of introduced at once, but at the same time we've had time with them. And we might have time with these guys too. It's just, I don't know whether we will. I think they're going to get knocked out pretty quickly because I get it why he's worried, because his son obviously got kidnapped, stolen, and he wants to get back as soon as he can from these monsters. But at the same time, they took him as a hostage, and if the monsters seem confident that they would win, they're like, oh, we'll beat them. But at the same time, they still took a hostage. Now, whether that's precaution, that could be. But you don't normally, if they felt like they could beat them, there would have been no need to take hostages. They would have just run and done it. Okay then, so, overall, I did enjoy this chapter. Yeah, I suppose when like I said, I first read it, I wasn't a big fan of it. Reading it back a few more times, it's definitely better than it seems. At the very least, it kind of gives us a rough lineup of the formation going into the Monster Association. So there's Nyrinki squad, who are the first line. They're going to get wiped out pretty quickly, I think. Then we'll have Tatsumaki, Dark Alloy, no, Super Alloy, and Pig God being the second. Let's say that's the Day 1 squad. Day 2, I imagine, being Genos, Atomic Samurai, and I hope we get to see next week what some of the other heroes are doing, like Flashy Flash, Watchdog Man, because I imagine that they seem to be doing okay after this whole arc. And of course a variety of A-Class and B-Class heroes I think going in too, so maybe some C-Classes, I doubt that though, because they need just people around. So like for example Lightning Genji, I think he'll go in and get some revenge. I think that'll be most of the Day 2, and then the Day 3s will be like Child Emperor, Bang, King possibly, if they're like, okay, it's getting dangerous, send in King. I'm thinking, who else? Mask could probably go in with the Day 2 squad. He might go, if he fights, I feel like they're trying to hold off on seeing us have a Mask actually like have a proper fight. Maybe Sonic as well. Sonic should show up at some point too. And then after all of this has gone down, Saitama's going to show up and boom, bap, bip. But yeah, I like this chapter. What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this chapter, if you like this review even, give it a like. And subscribe if you want to see more One Punch Man reviews. On time. I will get them out on time. Christmas was very busy. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this. Have a lovely day. Music? Good.